In the heavy Georgia heat, Leonard Carter sat quietly on a park bench, shaded by sprawling oak trees. His worn fingers traced the pages of I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, though the words blurred. He wasn't reading anymore. Not really. A burst of laughter snapped him back. Three teenage boys approached: Brett Thompson, Mason Richards, and Cody Wilson, all clad in designer clothes, reeking of expensive cologne and entitlement. Leonard knew their faces well enough. Small-town privilege had a way of making its mark. "Yo, TikTok live in 3, 2, 1, Brett yelled, already holding up his phone. His smirk was as sharp as the camera focus. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Senior Safari, featuring one rare specimen, the neighborhood welfare king." Mason howled with laughter. Cody lingered behind, visibly uncomfortable. Leonard didn't flinch. He turned another page, letting their words float by like stale air. But the boys circled closer. "Hey, Grandpa," Brett jabbed. "Give us an interview. Tell the people how many tax dollars you've burned today." Leonard kept his gaze on the page, steady and deliberate. "Look at his shoes," Mason sneered, zooming in with his phone. "Vintage poverty." Cody shifted. "Maybe we should go." Mason elbowed him. "Nah, this is going viral." Brett leaned in, pushing the phone near Leonard's face. "What's it like living off the government? Free lunch, free rent, free everything." Leonard breathed slowly. Their cruelty wasn't new. He'd faced worse: death threats, vandalism, even burning crosses back in the day. These boys, they were amateurs. "Come on, Grandpa," Mason said, cracking his knuckles. "Give us a dance. Do something funny." Cody's voice dropped. "Guys, this isn't right." Brett ignored him, now narrating to his followers. "We're witnessing classic evasion, folks." Subject refuses to engage. Leonard's fingers tightened slightly on his book, then released. "We need better content," Mason said, tossing an empty soda can at Leonard's feet. The metal clattered loudly. "They are props," Brett cackled, picking up a chip bag and throwing it against Leonard's shoe. "Authentic trash vibes." Leonard remained still. "Maybe he can't hear us," Mason sneered. "Social security too low for hearing aids. Let's motivate him." Brett's voice dropped lower, meaner. "Last chance for your TikTok debut, old man." Leonard closed his book and reached for his cane, but Mason's foot shot out, sending the cane skidding across the pavement. "Oops. Where you going?" Brett taunted, stepping in front of him. The fun just started. Leonard stood slowly, his legs shaking slightly. But his gaze was steady, his spine straight. "Let me pass," he said, voice low but unwavering. Brett laughed. "Or what? Gonna report us?" Leonard met his eyes. "You're making a grave mistake." Brett's smirk twitched. For a moment, something unreadable flickered in his expression. Then, sudden and hard, he shoved Leonard square in the chest. The force sent the old man back onto the bench, then sprawling onto the ground. The boys exploded with laughter. Brett's phone stayed trained on Leonard, capturing every grimace of pain. "Did you get that?" Mason hooped. "Every second," Brett crowed. "This is internet gold." Leonard gasped for air, clutching his side. His hip screamed with pain as he tried to sit up. His glasses had fallen, vision swimming. Through the blur, he saw Mason unzip his pants. "Wait for it, action shot," Mason yelled as a stream of urine hit the ground near Leonard. Cody turned away, horrified. "Are you serious?" "Shut up," Mason barked. That Leonard's trembling hands found his glasses. As he slid them on, the world came back into sharp focus. The broken glass at his feet, the boys still laughing, the indifference on every passing jogger's face. "You like that, Grandpa?" Brett said, lowering his phone. "Hope you enjoyed your spotlight." Leonard braced himself against the bench, rising slowly, breathing through the pain. Each step felt like fire in his hip, but still, he stood. "Man, this is going to blow up online." Mason laughed as they walked off, already talking about captions and filters. Leonard remained, silent and shaking, but not defeated. He retrieved his cane, dusted off his book, and limped away, holding on to one truth. This wasn't over. What the boys didn't know, what they couldn't imagine, was that Leonard Carter wasn't some helpless old man. He was a retired federal judge, a man who had spent his life tearing down the kind of systemic hate they now embodied. By the time they realized who he was, by the time their parents got the phone call, by the time the media showed up at their doors, their perfect little worlds would already be unraveling. And this was just the beginning. Leonard Carter sat stiffly in his armchair, pain radiating through his bruised hip. But the sting of humiliation hurt worse. Across town, Brett Thompson, Mason Richards, and Cody Wilson huddled around Brett's laptop. Brett added slow-motion effects and laughing emojis to the video of Leonard falling. Mason typed the caption, "Teaching Grandpa a lesson." Cody sat apart, staring at his phone, guilt growing in his stomach. "Uploaded," Brett shouted. Within hours, the video went viral. Comments poured in, some laughing, others outraged in her Atlanta office. Angela Carter froze as she saw her father's face on screen. Horror filled her. "Dad, I saw the video," she said, dialing frantically. "I'm coming to you now." "I'm fine, little bird," Leonard answered, though his voice trembled. Angela's BMW tore down the highway toward Pinebrook. Meanwhile, panic spread across the boys' homes. Brett's mother screamed when she learned who Leonard really was. "That's Judge Carter, a federal judge." Brett's cocky smile disappeared. Mason's father read furious emails from the country club board. Cody's mother sobbed silently. Cody stayed locked in his room. By the time Angela arrived at Leonard's house, news vans had surrounded the street. Leonard's phone rang nonstop. Journalists, activists, lawyers. Angela transformed the dining room into a command center. "Dad, this is national news," she said, pacing. "We need to act fast." Leonard stayed calm. "Not yet," he said. "Let them keep showing their true colors." That afternoon, Leonard dressed in a sharp blue suit. With Angela and his former clerk Marcus beside him, he stepped onto his porch, facing a wall of cameras. On the courthouse steps, Leonard approached the podium. "Good afternoon," he began, his voice clear. "What you saw was not just a prank. It was a crime, born from ignorance and hate." He announced a lawsuit against the boys, their parents, the school district, and local government officials who allowed such behavior to fester. "I forgive them," Leonard said, "but forgiveness does not erase accountability." Meanwhile, behind closed doors, the boys' families unraveled. At the Thompsons' mansion, Brett's father exploded in rage. "Do you realize what you've done?" Mason's parents argued bitterly, each blaming the other for raising a bully. Cody's parents contacted a lawyer, desperate for damage control, that Angela's legal team dug deeper. Within days, new evidence emerged. Documents, emails, testimonies exposing years of racial discrimination linked to the boys' families. Old redlining maps, biased school policies, and unfair hiring records surfaced. Leonard's house became a war room. Neighbors came forward with stories: denied jobs, unjust suspensions, loan refusals. "This isn't just about me," Leonard said. "It's about all of them." One night, Leonard's backyard shed mysteriously burned. Angela called the police, but Officer Jenkins shrugged it off as an accident. The next day, Brett posted a shaky apology video online, tears streaming. The internet didn't believe him. Then, a call from Senator Thompson's office. A federal civil rights investigation had opened. "This is bigger now," Angela said. Leonard nodded. "It always was." A few days later, Cody showed up at Leonard's door, eyes red and swollen. "Sir, I want to testify," he said quietly. "I should have stopped them. I didn't." Leonard studied him. "Do you really understand what that means?" "Yes," Cody whispered, in court. Angela's closing argument painted a chilling picture of systemic injustice. Witnesses lined up. Cody testified, his voice shaking but truthful. Leonard took the stand. "I've spent my life fighting for justice," he said. "I won't accept silence anymore." The judge ruled swiftly. $5 million awarded for a new civil rights fellowship in Leonard's name. The boys expelled from school, and a federal investigation launched into Pinebrook's local government that Brett's Stanford mission was revoked. Mason withdrew from school, suffering panic attacks. Cody joined a community outreach program, determined to make amends. A week later, Leonard stood in front of a new mural at the community center, a tribute to Black excellence, with his face among the heroes. Surrounded by young students eager to learn, Leonard smiled. "This isn't the end," he told them softly. "It's the beginning of something better."